I'm Paul Sims, and I'm here with
Joe Rogan.
And Andy Dick.
And Dave Foley again.
And this is the Goofy Ball episode, as you can see. I think this was the first one that actually aired after the pilot. I know it wasn't the first one we shot after the pilot.
Yeah, because that was the desk and the subway thing.
That's correct.
Right.
Wow, look who's that? That's so weird. We look so strange.
Yeah.
We're dying.
What are you talking about? You look
We're very colorful.
We look so different.
Yeah.
Joe, what was your last? Before NewsRadio? What was your last previous TV job?
I was on a show called Hardball that was on Fox. That was it went about 6 episodes.
Oh, that's right. As a matter of fact, that's when we needed to cast this part. I remembered you from Hardball. You played the baseball player the guy won the lottery.
Yes.
Yes, I remembered liking
Frank
you in
Valenti.
And then did you have to? Do you remember coming in and auditioning for this? Or?
Yeah, I remember I came in with a big cattle call, and there was a whole bunch of dudes. And I remember the first script was not very funny. And I remember I talked to you about it later, and you said, well, I wanted to get rid of all the people that would try to make it funny. You know, and I just kind of like read it. And then you said, great. And I said, okay.
And that's how it
And then
happened.
I came back for the callback, and it was me and 2 other dudes. And that was it.
And Andy, you and I, when I was doing Larry Sanders, I always used to bump into you at the bookstore at the Beverly Connection.
bookstore, the coffee shop.
Yeah, and you always used to say, "Put me in something."
Yeah. Yes, I know,
you were
because
one
you
of
were
those
working on the Larry
guys.
Sanders show. Wait, I think, is this where, no, there's a basketball. Remember there's an episode where the basketball went through the window?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that's what was going to happen here.
Does the Goofy Ball. And again, this
I
back.
have not seen this in
Did you see
years.
that?
You
We
guys
got to kiss.
Oh.
Oh, is this where she... Oh, this is funny to me.
So,
you
Andy,
have
then-
them in your drawer, all your shirts.
Yeah, my hair was very high in this one.
Yeah.
I like that look. We should have stuck with that.
It's
Well,
very Duran Duran.
Yeah.
So Andy, then when I wrote the pilot, I wrote the part of Matthew with you in mind, and then but we still had to take you to the network to
Yeah.
to do so the network could approve you. And
I heard that.
And I remember you really didn't do a very good job there at the network.
Yeah.
I remember, and then you said in front of me, you said to everyone, that wasn't very good, but the way he was just talking before he started acting, that's what I'm going to write for. And I was like, what the F?
And in fact, that's how it worked out.
That's how you did.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I love that, all the shirts in your drawer. I think that's funny. I knew there was one
there,
coming.
you broke the wind.
I knew it was coming.
Andy, what had we almost weren't able to use you on the show because at the same time you were committed to a show.
Oh, yeah. I remember that controversy.
And yeah, there was a controversy because didn't you say to some reporter or something that you really didn't like the show that you were supposed to be in?
At the I think that was at the Television Critics Association in Pasadena when we were doing a big press conference.
Yeah, it was.
And you announced that, well, I hope the other one doesn't go.
Candy Alexander, there she is.
She's the only one that looks exactly the same.
I know
She has an age.
She bought a
Yeah.
house right near my house.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're neighbors.
She was
cool.
complaining about that yesterday.
Yeah. She said you moved out of the neighborhood.
No, I moved just a block up.
Ah.
She hasn't been to my new place.
You still live near the Beverly Center?
Yeah.
You still go hang out at the coffee place and the bookstore asking people to put you in shows?
The bookstore is gone. I only did that with you.
Oh, that's nice.
Because,
And then before that,
Mark Roshan. I forgot about Mark Roshan. Sorry.
I had seen.
Don't get us
there's
sued.
Phil.
I guess the first place I'd seen you, Andy, was on the Ben Stiller show, probably,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was very funny.
First place I ever saw you was in the Formosa, and I wanted to hit you.
Tell that story, Dave.
I think I already told it when
Oh,
you
did you
wasn't
tell
here.
it yesterday?
Yeah.
Don't tell me. Let's what?
Let's what? Let's be
I wanna
quiet and
watch
watch
Phil.
the episode.
I want to watch Phil.
All right, but that won't be that entertaining for the listeners.
Was it exciting for you to work with Phil?
I loved it. That's the thing, is that you said you're writing a show, and it was for Dave, me, and Phil. That's what you said. I said, I'm in. I love it because I love Dave, you, and Phil. Loved it.
You didn't even know me.
No, I did because I knew your work from Larry Sanders.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes. Look at the little baby.
Andy, the
Joe?
people at home can't see that Dave
know.
Foley's baby is outside the window. You
Yeah.
gotta-
Oh, that's what he's talking about.
I
Yeah,
thought
you-
he was talking about me. I look like I'm
You've got to be
12.
looking at the monitor,
Yeah.
actually.
Joe, you did get a lot wider.
Well, you've been, you weren't as, I guess you
Uh-oh.
weren't built up then. Oh, the models. I remember. Suddenly the room
ladies.
goes silent.
And Andy, over the course of the series, I think you and Joe had I would describe it as a love-hate relationship. I know
Yeah.
Joe thought you were the funniest person in the world,
He loved to hate me. I think it's.
Oh.
and you would
Joe
always
loved
come and
to.
say Joe was being mean to you.
He was just an aggro person.
Just a
You know,
little
I
too
shouldn't-
honest, Andy.
I shouldn't have taken it so personal.
It's just a
Yeah.
little honesty, and you weren't
He's-
usually used, getting honesty.
Yeah, it's true.
You were
No,
usually getting
Andy
people who were
surrounds
tolerating
himself
you.
with people that love to tell him the truth.
You know I love you. I always loved you, man.
I know.
It just sometimes
was
you
a
just
hard-
get a little out of hand, and
But
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
writers, it was always fun for us to write scenes with the two of you because you would always manage to crack Joe up.
Yeah,
Yes.
That was fun. Are we gonna see a good scene?
the
with me and
pencil
you?
one. Do you remember the pencil one? We had to do it
yeah.
like 30
Oh.
times. I
We had
couldn't
to-
get through it.
That was the betting one?
Yeah.
I think we will be seeing that later. And Joe, had you really done, besides the hardball pilot, if that's what it was called, had you done any acting before?
No, just stand up. I never did any acting.
Were you nervous?
It's not really that hard. It's way easier than stand up. It's just a lot of comics don't adapt to it very well because they're used to being the center of attention and they're not good at being a piece of the machine. But to me, it's
Well,
pretty
they
easy.
used,
It was
they
fun.
were used to carrying on the fake conversation of stand-up.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
My stand up is just kind of me talking about stuff, and sometimes I do characters where I, get to act, I guess. But acting's fun. It's not hard.
Yeah. Well, you're good at it.
It's just not that hard.
Yeah. No, I didn't say it was hard.
It's got to be one of the most overrated things ever.
I know.
When you think about it. I mean, you go to the Academy Awards, people are crying because they did a really good job pretending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
That is
And
weird.
then, Nobel Prizes go and no one knows who won. And
A lot of those guys, they start crying too, and like some of them get all snotty, just like Halle Berry.
Andy, had
I
you
can't believe I've won this award.
had you done any like the sitcom, 3-camera with an audience sitcom stuff before? Had you done guest parts on anything?
yeah. Well, one of my first big jobs was Flying Blind.
With the
Taya
Taya
Leone.
Were you regular on that?
No. I just had one little bit part with her, very small, maybe one line. But no, that wasn't my first one. My first one was that one show with Richard Lewis and Jamie Lee Curtis.
whoa, there's a blast. from the past.
Love. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
What show? Sorry, I was watching Maura and Myself.
Oh,
What,
that is.
hoping that there's going to be a kiss in
I
this
hope
scene?
so.
Here we go.
Here
What
we
was
go.
that show? What was
I
that
don't
show?
know.
You don't remember it? Do you remember Richard Lewis and Jamie Lee Curtis had a show?
I do.
All
Yeah,
About Love.
Yeah.
About
Anything
love.
but love.
Oh, Anything But Love. That was
Yeah.
it. Wait, hang on. Let me see this.
Didn't Richard Lewis and Kevin Nealon have a show once?
Hey, look, I flew it to him, and then he just kept walking. Richard Lewis and who?
Kevin Nealon?
Why are we talking about Richard Lewis and Kevin Nealon?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know.
Andy, at this point,
You said what was my first job?
that's true. And
Why are the models always in the elevator again?
I have no idea.
Every time the elevator opens,
Plot point.
just models.
Yeah, because we needed it for the plot somehow.
Oh, and I had also got hired on the Tom Arnold show as a regular, but I turned it down
Why?
because I think because of this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What Tom
I mean,
Arnold show?
it-
Was this the one? Oh,
the second one.
his second show,
he
not the
had,
one
like-
that Brad did.
Yeah, I think so. I was gonna be his cousin.
So this was, I guess this is like 1995 that we shot this. At that,
Yeah.
how long had you been out in Los Angeles at that
Me,
point?
I think 5 years.
And where were you before that?
Chicago.
Doing what?
Second City. I came from Second City. You knew that, right?
Yeah, but the people
Oh,
watching
the
at
people
home
down-
don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's-
right.
yeah,
Hi,
yeah.
people.
And Joe, when
Good
did
people.
when did you move out to?
The great thing is Andy just thought you were taking an interest finally.
I know. You've never been so nice to me in all the years.
So, Joe, when did you move out to L.A.?
I moved out late '94, so I'd probably been there about 6 or 7 months by then.
And what had you been doing before that?
Just stand-up comedy.
Where?
In New York. I moved out here for the pilot for Hardball. I hated it. I was ready to go back to New York, but I screwed up and got an apartment and bought a TV and some stuff. So I said, let me just stay out here for a little while longer. And then I got an NBC development deal to do my own show. And while we were talking to writers and everything, it just looked pretty grim and hopeless. And then the NewsRadio thing came up.
And that's how it happened.
That's how
it
it
all
all
The
went.
rest is history.
Andy, what was your favorite part of the week, the work week, and your least favorite part?
My favorite part is always when it's us in front of the audience. It's just it all comes together. Great writing. Look at everyone's so smooth, and the audience is right there, really listening and laughing. It's like really like doing a play.
And your least favorite part?
The rest of the week.
That whole remembering the word stuff.
Or where the
that
studio
came easy
is.
to me. Yeah. Sometimes I'd sleep over in my trailer.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we did know that. That's true. Andy, I do have to say, the one thing about you is we would have the table read and start rehearsing, and then you'd start coming up with funny stuff, and it'd be really funny, and the next day it'd be really funny, and then you'd get completely tired and bored with what you were doing, and you would suddenly decide you wanted to do something completely different. And then sometime around show night, you would go back to the original way.
Yeah.
But you seem to get bored with yourself.
Yeah,
even
I
more,
do.
even more so than other people get
Yeah.
bored with you. But Joe, what was your favorite and least favorite part of the week?
The favorite was always filming in front of a live audience. It was just so much fun. Hearing people laugh at the stuff that we've been working on all week, especially if there was like a new line that we came up with like that day or something. That was always fun. That was really fun was when we would have the huddles,
Yeah.
when we would do a joke and it wouldn't
During the
work, and we would
show,
all
yeah.
get together and someone would come up with something great. We'd
And
go out there and do
a lot
it.
of times that was Dave. Dave was you were
Sure.
like a really like an added writer. You didn't get credit for
And
writing, but
Paul
you
too.
wrote so
Paul's
many.
right here.
Yeah, Paul
Well,
too.
Paul's
No,
the
no,
great
it's true. He
creator
was.
of
He
the
was-
show.
he was
He'll
good.
agree with me. You were so good for me and my character. You came up with so many good lines
Yeah.
for me over the years.
Well,
It's
that was kind of
incredible.
my function in Kids in the Hall during rehearsals too, was to
Just to
that bring me in
tweak
to
it.
come up with jokes.
Yeah, make it funnier and
Look at this. This is episode 2, and already we see the genesis of Joe as a
fix it all.
gadget master.
Yeah.
Jimmy
It wasn't- but you
Jimmy
know what?
rigging everything. That was a good through line.
It wasn't until about 8 episodes later that Joe's actual conspiracy theory personality found its way into the character.
Yeah,
He had
of
a
Joe.
few
Roswell.
conversations with me about Roswell and
You
Yeah.
got all aliened out. You got creepy, and you lived in that van, didn't you?
yeah, sometimes.
Oh man.
Joe, your least favorite part of the week?
The getting there early in the morning part. But thankfully that didn't last very long.
No. Yeah.
Thank God the writers were always like 4 hours late with the scripts. So we never really had to show up any earlier than 10:30 or noon.
Yeah.
Or if you were Andy,
And then
a half
we're-
hour later than
Yeah.
everyone else.
Yeah.
Come on, Andy. You know we
I'm
love you.
sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize for all that.
And so you really cleaned up your act on the new show?
Well, the new show is his show.
Indeed.
No, on the Andy Dick show, you just kind of do whatever you want to do.
No less than perfect.
Oh, that's what you're doing?
Yeah.
But MTV,
It's on
you're
ABC.
doing...
Do you ever see that show?
No,
You never? Have you heard of it?
no.
There's a new ABC show. It's been on 2 years.
And you're on it?
Yeah. You don't lie.
No, I'm dead serious. I'm
It
dead
has
serious.
Sarah Rue.
I've never even heard of
Red
it, and I have no
hair.
idea who Sarah Rue is.
Well,
I have no idea.
Well, Eric Roberts is in it.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
There's a
You
lot
know what I
inside that,
watched? I
really.
watched The Shield,
I watched The
You
Shield.
probably watched
Yeah.
24.
The Soprano. No, I don't
We're
watch
on
24.
opposite 24.
You have the same TiVo schedule
I
that
can't
we
believe
have.
he
See,
doesn't.
this is I was enjoying that because it was right back to the old relationship where all he wanted was a little love, and And Joe just sat there. What? You're on a show?
No, I didn't know.
It's on TV?
Look, I'm being
I know
honest.
you're on Fear
It's so much
Factor.
better than if
Yeah.
I said, yeah, something almost perfect, sort of.
It's
What
a
is
good
it?
show.
Is
It's
it?
Tuesdays
You like
at
it?
9:30.
How is
yeah.
it? How is the character you play on that show different from Matthew from NewsRadio?
It's similar.
Is it different in any way?
Well, I think maybe my character on Less Than
He's a
Perfect
little older.
Isn't he's a little old. Isn't as
Retarded?
retarded. Yeah. I think he's not as retarded, and maybe not as gay.
Well, if the writers over there need me to come over and help them,
Gay it up?
yeah, you know.
No, I am not. You, however, are trying to make me jealous, and you know what? I am not in the mood to play this silly little game. I'm
All right,
really
fine.
not. Yes,
Great.
that is
Oh, okay, fine. See you later.
I'm sorry.
There's
baby.
Vicky. Is Vicky? Oh, she
Fell off a horse.
She fell off a horse today.
That's why I'm filling in for Vicky today.
Fell off a horse, but we'll be here later in the week.
And it's not like she was out riding. It's her own horse. She just bought it and fell off it immediately.
That's very sad. Andy, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Why did you hire Dennis Miller for the stalker? What's that all about?
He wasn't the
at the-
first one, was he?
No, we had that crazy dude who
Well,
like dragged his
because-
you know
lines out.
why? I could probably tell me if I'm wrong. Because the family of Brillstein Gray, who were the producers of this show, had that's why John Lovitz and all those people, they managed them. So they were right, isn't that right? So Dennis Miller was
That's-
available, and
yeah, that's sort of
and they're
it. But the main
friends.
thing was, especially at this point at NBC,
Stunt casting.
Yeah, NBC was always pushing us for stunt casting. If you got some other famous person in the show, they felt like they could promote it better, which was always aggravating because it was always someone who just would end up getting jammed in. And in fact, I don't know if people were really going to tune in that much more because Dennis Miller was on it. As
know.
much as
But he is
as
funny,
much
I
as I
like
like him. And then, but the thing was, it was always difficult getting people to do it, and that's why so many of them ended up being Brillstein Gray clients because they could sort of ask them to do a favor. But then again, over the course of the series, we had
remember Jerry Seinfeld?
we had a lot of good people.
Jerry
Adam
Seinfeld.
West.
Adam
Yeah,
West,
that was
Jon
cool.
Stewart,
That was so.
George
John Stewart.
George Goober
Ben
Lindsay,
Stiller.
Ben
I ran
Stiller.
into
And
George
David Cross
Lindsay at
and
Arts Deli the other day.
Who?
I ran into Goober.
from the Andy Griffith Show.
Oh,
I
wow.
ran into him
the
at
guy.
Arts
He was
Deli.
on our show, right?
Yeah.
He was having
Yeah.
lunch with Ernest Borgnine. And
This is a
their
made-up
son.
story.
It's true.
As much as I'd like to believe it.
Ernest Borgnine and
too perfect.
George Cooper Lindsay and their two sons were having
Wow.
a father-son lunch at Arts Deli right next to us.
Oh, that's wild.
That's
We chatted.
Wow.
Joe, I like you. You got any more questions?
No.
Come on.
Let me.
No, I just was always curious about why Dennis Miller got hired to be a stalker.
Yeah.
It just seemed weird.
I know because also the way we originally wrote it is, but when it came time to shoot the episode, we hadn't found a famous or semi-famous person to play the part, so we used
But-
just some actor and then went back and reshot that scene later.
It was really fun having him on set that day, hanging out with the cast.
Really?
Because he's fun.
No.
No. No, he was really rude to everybody.
Was he?
No,
yeah,
really
he would
not
only
to
talk to
me.
Phil.
Well,
You
they
know,
were old
how
friends.
weird is it that he's this
You were
weird
just-
right-wing comedian now?
Yeah.
Pro-Bush comedy.
How weird is it that your job now is to make people eat bugs?
That's not that weird.
It's nothing you would have anticipated back during these days when we
Certainly
were doing this
never would
show.
have anticipated, but I'm so jaded by it at this
I
point.
remember a guy named Joe who said his next show was going to be called Joe Gets Paid.
This is
And,
basically it.
and now he's
I remember that show. You talked about
Yeah,
that show
we just
a
run
lot.
a bunch of cameras and everybody gets in there.
Yeah.
We don't have any script. We just drink a lot of coffee and just work it out.
Do you drink coffee now?
Not really, not that much.
What branch of the service were you in, sir?
All right, Mr. James, what if we just decided to keep this a secret?
the other thing, Andy and Joe, that's similar about you is that you were both in some sense fitness nuts.
Yeah. I was always
In different ways. Joe was
exercising.
always exercising
Yeah.
and working out, but you were more
Eating
vitamin
right and
freaky
exercise. No, I was
diets.
exercising a lot too and eating right. But and Joe actually took me to the gym, I think more than one time. Joe would work out. He would work out hard. He would work out to the point where he was bending over the garbage can, throwing up, wipes his mouth and goes, "Let's keep going."
So I gotta say, they were both fitness nuts, but it had a clear effect on one of them.
Visible.
No, I've been in really good shape, except lately.
Back then, Andy, you did take a lot of weird vitamins,
Still
and,
do.
and you drank a strange
Weird mushroom
fermented
tea.
tea. and-
Kombucha. I don't drink that anymore.
I
but
drank that for a little while.
Yeah.
I had a chick that turned me on to that. I used to make my own kombucha tea.
You wouldn't listen to me though. Back
I
then.
I did it for a little while, and then I
'cause it was
quit.
kind
but
of
that's
vinegary,
when you were
right?
doing it.
I stopped.
Yeah.
What blood type are you?
I don't know.
No,
Now
that's what
this
I
is
do now.
fascinating
I eat
for
for
the
my
people at
blood type. I
home.
eat for my blood
Are
type.
you
don't know.
are you bleeding right now?
Do you need a transfusion? Or everything's okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Dave.
Oh my.
There you are. You ready
Wait,
to go?
let's see.
I've been meaning to call you.
Now, the point of doing the commentary, Andy, is not to go, wait, let's watch the show.
Here comes Dennis Miller.
Oh, look, he's been,
Yeah, we can watch
he's
them
been
when we
in
get
that
home.
shocked. Look, he's wearing an iPad just to make him scarier.
Oh, that's right. And he's paralyzed by his
By his gun.
homemade taser.
By the Joe Gorelli made taser.
Looks like it's just you and me now.
Yeah, I think that scene was originally much longer, and then we
Yeah.
cut it down. That's the only shot the network really needed so they could put it in their promo.
So that's when I discovered if I wore the eye patch on this eye, it would make the vision in this eye stronger, and vice versa.
That is funny.
So what were we talking about?
I got to think of some better questions. Dave, don't you have any questions for Andy or Joe?
Questions? Nah,
Dave, how much
I don't hear
coffee
what
do
they're
you
talking
drink,
about.
really? How much coffee do
Well,
you drink?
on NewsRadio, I was
1 pot
uh,
a day.
Oh God, no, more like 4 or 5 pots.
4 or 5 pots
a day on NewsRadio. Yeah,
And you actually stopped drinking it with cream because you found out you were drinking like a quart of cream a
quarter
day?
cream every day, and it was making me a little chubby. So there was really only one option that I'm willing to address, and that was cutting out the cream.
So you can just drink a cup of coffee and then take a nap at this point. I mean, does it even affect you?
I can. It depends. I haven't been drinking as much as I used to then. So now it affects me a little.
How would you do if they made it illegal?
Coffee?
Yeah.
Would
you risk imprisonment?
Oh, wait. Look.
I imagine
look,
so.
Look, watch.
What are we watching, Andy?
Watch.
Throwing the ball off his head?
This is.
Yeah.
Andy, that was much harder than it needed to be for the joke.
He doesn't
that's-
like it. He
Nah.
was looking at me like
That look wasn't Bill McNeil looking at you.
I
No,
know.
that
That was
Phil.
Phil Hartman.
Dennis Miller is the stalker.
That was
there we have it.
Sorry, Phil.
Greg Heshong.
Tony Heyman, our editor.
Peter Margolis. Peter Margolis is the first
Hirschfeld,
AD on the
remember
Man
that?
Show.
Jody Mann,
he?
remember her?
Yeah.
I can't. Orit. I love Orit.
Or Reet. Wow.
Remember her?
Yeah.